So it's been a heck of a week. Certainly unlike anything I've ever experienced before. Probably unlike anything you've ever experienced before. I've never seen a football game just flat out be stopped. I have seen it in sports before. Granted, I wasn't at the game, but I remember probably about 7 or 8 years ago. Now I'm just kind of pulling this from my memory. There was an NHL game between the Dallas Stars and I'm not sure who, but it was Rich Peverly was on the bench for the Stars. It might have been the first or second period, and I think he just passed out. He had a heart issue, and the medical staff was quick to react to that. They saved his life, but the game was immediately postponed. That is the only other thing that, in my mind, is even comparable to what happened. That's the circumstances were, granted, similar, but it's still, you can see I'm struggling to find the words. It was just eerie, very eerie to watch. The reactions of the players on both teams, like immediate reactions. Then they finally show the replay on TV, and you're like, oh my God, what just happened? And you've heard the takes. You've heard Ryan Clark. You've heard Booger McFarland, Dan Orlovsky, Marcus Spears, all the ESPN guys, and more. I'm sure you've heard all the takes. So I'm not really going to be like, oh, this is about, this is bigger than football. Of course it is. This is a man fighting for his life. Like, yeah, it was. And it was pretty apparent that immediately that's what was going on. That this man is fighting for his life on the football field. And it was just, terrifying. You're watching this unfold with your eyes just in complete disbelief. Like I said, I'm struggling to find the words to describe it right now because I didn't even know how to react at the time. Like everyone says, football is secondary at that point. You're not thinking about what's going to happen with the rest of this game. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman brought it up a couple of times. There was the whole 5 minutes thing, and everyone got on the NFL about that, and the NFL kind of denied it. And there was probably some guy on the field that was like, well, here's the protocol for this. This is what we usually do. 5 minutes, and you get warmed up, and we'll continue the game. And the biggest... What's the best way to word this? I can't give enough credit to the head coaches, Zach Taylor and Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott is the perfect type of person you want leading your football team, maybe period, but certainly in that type of situation. Just a leader of men and women, just a leader of people. The maturity is just off the charts, and that goes a long way. He was the face they needed, that the team needed in that moment. And kudos to Zach Taylor as well, because we're not sure what was really going to happen with in regards to the continuation of the game, or I don't know. But Zach Taylor walked over to Sean McDermott and basically was like, "Hey, where are you guys at with this?" He spoke a little bit on it this week, but he's like, "Where are you guys at with this?" And, I guess there was communication with the league as well at this point, and they just agreed, like, let's go back to the locker rooms and get a couple minutes to try to compose ourselves here, and then we'll make a decision. And I am so glad that the decision came down to what the Bills and the Bengals wanted to do. Too often in high-pressure situations, and granted, there was a lot of pressure here, because this is, like I said, this is not totally in sports, but like a totally unprecedented thing in football for the most part. Going back to what you heard from Ryan Clark and Booger McFarland, it's like you're just used to just being like, they're going to get this guy off the field and the game is going to continue. That's what happens. That's what happens in sports, regardless of the severity of the injury. But this isn't like an injury. Okay, this is like a significant medical situation. So, if you're following on Twitter at that point, and, Twitter has really transformed the way in which we watch sports and follow them. Twitter wasn't around 15 plus years ago, so the game might have been continued 15 plus years ago. Who knows? I'm not sure. I guess I'm not I'm not comfortable making that assumption, really. I'm just purely speculating. And that really, the speculation is my whole issue with the entire thing. Because people on Twitter and on Facebook, social media alike, maybe even you had friends texting, like making assumptions about what was happening. About what was happening to Damar Hamlin. I think this is the first time I said his name in this video. And by the way, as of this recording, he's awake. He's up. He's talked to the team. Incredible. What, like, remarkable. I think as of yesterday, or maybe even late the night before, the other day, you got the sense that he was going to pull through because, well, if you listen to the doctors, and again, this is where my whole point is coming back from, listening to the doctors. This is where I'm going to circle back to this. But listening to the doctors, there were quotes like, not only are the lights around, but Damar's home. He is writing things down. Like, it's like, oh my God, thank God. He has cognitive function. He has neurological function. He has feeling in his extremities, hands and feet. He can hear people, communicate through pen and paper. Like, this is all great. Just the best news that you could ever hope for. Honestly, like, this is like, because we don't know how dire it was. We found out how dire it was, I guess, in that press conference. But during the time while we're watching that, we don't know how dire it is. So I think that all of the people, and I'm coming back to this point, all the people that were on Twitter and Facebook and social media, maybe texting you, saying, like, I don't know how you continue this game. It's like, me neither, but it's not up to us. Like, people were like, it's cruel to put those players back out there type of stuff. Like, let them decide that. I think the right decision was ultimately made. But I'll tell you what I'm not going to do is listen to what you think should happen. You're not there. You can have your opinion on the matter, but I don't think we're really in any place to do that. And this, I don't mean to come off as harsh right now. I just think speculation is one of the worst things you can do in that situation. And there's certain people, I guess, of a certain profession, maybe medical professionals and whatnot, that you might reach out to because you don't fully understand what's going on, but they're not there either. So they can offer their insight into, like, this is the typical procedure for this type of thing, but anyone that was going to Facebook or Twitter and be like, here's what's happening, because, like, I'm sorry if I'm all over the place with this. It was really, really upsetting me when people were making assumptions about his condition, or when they found out that he was getting CPR on the field for 9 minutes, that was a bad thing. Turns out it was a good thing. You don't want to get, I don't mean the CPR itself, but they did the CPR on the field because, first of all, the immediacy of the situation, as well as there's more room. There's more room on the field for people to work than there is in an ambulance. So they had the ambulance there. They didn't load him in at first because there was more room for them to get work done on the field. So I think some people were thinking, if he's not in the ambulance by now, that must mean the worst. And terrible take. I have no interest in your medical opinion. I really don't. In situations like that, you're not there. And this might be coming across as aggressive or harsh, but I was super disappointed in some of the things I read, heard, etc. on Monday night. It was, careless speculation. We don't know. We're not there. The ambulance stopped to wait for his mom. Well, what could that mean? I don't know. You don't know. People were assuming the worst again. Like, just, I don't know. I said it enough. Careless speculation. I don't feel good. I don't feel good about giving this only, 9 minutes, 10 minutes of the video. But, I'm a couple days late for this. I waited. I usually post my videos on Thursdays. I didn't do that because I wanted more information. I didn't want to come in here with, I wanted to make a video because I think it's important, and people like is the wrong word considering the situation, but it's therapeutic for people to to talk to their friends, to hear other people's opinions and things of that nature. Some people need that. Need to handle. Like, everyone handles trauma differently, and I don't know. Maybe like this could hit closer to home to some people than others. I've never witnessed that. I've never had to do that. I've never seen it. Truth be told, my father had a heart attack when I was 4. I don't even remember what year it was. I don't remember it. I was too young. I was 3 or 4 years old. He's still here. Thanks to quick reaction, quick medical staff. Like, I mean, that I wasn't thinking of that in the situation, but I wouldn't blame you if you have seen things like that happen to close people that are close to you. So that might affect you differently, is all I'm saying. So to hear other people talk about it is, like I said, there's a therapy aspect to it. I'm so grateful for, obviously, for Damar Hamlin, for Denny Kellington, for the entire medical staff that was on the field that attended to Damar Hamlin. Just unbelievable effort by everyone involved. The doctors at UC Medical as well. Just bravo to everybody involved. Bravo to Damar Hamlin for fighting. I'm so glad he woke up and gets to find out how many people care about him, or how much money his charity has made. I mean, I've been talking about football on here for more than 12 years now at this point. This might be even like year 13 or 14. I'm not even sure. I've never had to address something like this, but I'm relieved. All in all, I'm relieved. I was a different person on Monday night. I was a different person on Tuesday. I was a different person all week, but you got a little bit more good news with each passing day. And now, I don't know if he ever plays football again, but he certainly looks like he's going to make a full recovery and live a normal life. I mean, that might be a little too soon to say, but I believe in him. I believe in him. I think the only thing keeping that dude in that bed the past couple days was intubation. He just seems like the type of person that is, I mean, he asked if we won. He woke up and asked if we won the game. That's the type of fighter he is. He has no clue. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know the sequence of events here, but like, he couldn't possibly know how big of a national story he is in that moment. Just wants to know if we won the game. Maybe a little bit sad that he assumes the game went on without him. Like I said, I'm relieved. It's just a huge weight off your shoulders, really. Like, it was hard to think about anything else. I mean, I love being on Twitter during sports and stuff like that. I couldn't get off. Even though you weren't getting news, I was just scrolling constantly, looking for it. You don't realize how much these guys mean to you until something like that happens. I mean, the Bills mean a lot to me, and I'm going to talk a little bit about football in a second here. It's just unbelievable. Like, I've never met Damar Hamlin. I've seen him in public. I've never approached him. There are some players that I have spoken to that have been very cordial to me. I don't know Damar Hamlin, but if he means a lot to the Bills mean a lot to me. Damar Hamlin means a lot to me. Just a simple transitive property. Anyway, I hope you don't feel like I didn't spend enough time on that. I'm happy to talk more about this with anybody. You can hit me up on Twitter in the comments. My Twitter handle and my YouTube username are the same, so you can find me there. We're getting back to football this week. Damar seems excited. He played a short video or a short FaceTime with some teammates and in the team meeting. That's exciting. I think that is the motivation that the team needs. Sunday is it's going to be electric. I am never going to forget it. I mean, lit, as the kids like to say, doesn't even describe it. Emotions just flowing. My adrenaline is going. I'm getting an adrenaline rush thinking about the adrenaline rush I'm going to have on Sunday. New England, thanks for coming. There's no chance New England beats the Bills. Nope, it's not happening. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit more, but here you go. 33-3. No other reason than that. 33-3, Bills over Patriots. I know they're playing for their playoff lives. They can't match. You can't fake the type of emotion and energy and adrenaline that the Bills will be feeling and that will be in the crowd. You can't. I'm sorry that your season's on the line. I know that they're a talented team in certain aspects. They scored like 7 touchdowns on defense and special teams this year. That's pretty good. Kyle Duggar is like tied for 3rd on the team in touchdowns behind Ramondre Stevenson and Jacoby Myers. Like, they have some talent, but on defense, like they're no pushover on defense. But the Bills beat them 24-10 in their stadium. The only touchdown came from like kind of a gizmo fluke play to Marcus Jones. It's not happening. They're bad in the red zone. They're uninspiring on offense. They're not good enough. They're not good enough to beat the Bills, period. They're certainly not good enough to beat the Bills this Sunday, given the extra circumstances that are involved. There's no way. I can't wait. Like I can't wait. It's been said. I do want to talk about the rule adjustments. So you probably know by now that the Bills-Bengals game is not going to be replayed. And obviously it was going to have a big impact on the AFC playoff seeding. So the Bills might be out of it on the 1 seed. They're not officially out of it yet. They're obviously big Raiders fans on Saturday. Myself included, of course. All of Bills Mafia. Sorry, I'm just getting a little. I'm still thinking about. I'm thinking about everything that happened this week. I'm thinking about Sunday, and I just can't wait. I hope you'll be there too. But okay, where was I? Sorry, the rules. Okay, the little rule changes. The Chiefs have the inside track at the 1 seed. The Bills now have the inside track at the 2 seed. Cincinnati's probably feeling the most slight at this point because they could lose. They've been crowned the AFC North champions, but they could lose to Baltimore on Sunday, and then apparently the home field for the wild card game, if they line up in that 3-6, would be decided by a coin toss. I understand their frustrations there. I understand how, like, if they would have won, they would have had the inside track at the 2 seed. Now if the Bills would have won, they would have had the inside track at the 1 seed. So I mean, it's not ideal, I guess, for everyone, except Kansas City, I suppose. I don't know. I think couldn't you just like postpone the Kansas City game? Like, oh, we're not going to play that. Kansas City's 13-3. And we'll just see what happens with the Bills. I don't know. That seemed fair. Fairer. Whatever. We have this neutral site thing. So the good guarantee is that we're not going to Kansas City in the playoffs. There's no chance. So even if we end up as the 2 seed, we'll have a home wild card game. If they make it past that round, they'll have a home divisional round game. And then if Kansas City is the 1 and makes it past the divisional round, they will play at a neutral site. to be determined. Maybe that's in a dome like Indy, but, Pittsburgh, or not, I was going to say Pittsburgh because Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, they all play outdoors. So, if it's Kansas City, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Buffalo, looks like, it's going to be at a neutral site. I think Cincinnati will be upset if it ends up being Cincinnati, Buffalo, because that game will be in Buffalo. If they're the 2-3, if Bills are 2 and Cincinnati's a 3. Again, it's not a perfect, it's odd circumstances. And I understand their frustrations with that. They still made the right decision on Monday. Everybody made the right decision on Monday. Consequences seems like a punishment. It's not consequences, it's just the result. It's just what they came up with, what the league came up with. All the owners voted yes to it, I think, except the Bengals. So, I get it. The one negative, I suppose, for the Bills is you're maybe losing a home game for the AFC Championship. You might now draw the Bengals in the divisional round. If you both win in the wild card round, you may draw the Bengals. So I think the one seed you avoid if you're the 1 and Kansas City is the 2, the Bengals are the 3. If they win, they automatically play each other, so you avoid them. So I'm sorry that I don't feel as good about the flow here today, but unique circumstances. I hope you understand. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope that you enjoy yourself on Sunday as well. Catch me out there throwing up the threes during the anthem, during whatever, maybe the whole time. Thanks for coming this far in the video, guys. I hope we'll talk soon. Talk on Twitter. We're gonna have a playoff game to preview. But until then, enjoy your weekend. As always, above all else, go Bills.